Hey, it's Julie Ziemelis from 365 Hawaii Group with Real Broker. And I am here with Amber Haley with Real Broker. And we are about to do the East Hawaii housing market update. And we are sitting here on a beautiful November day, and it's obviously very warm. So we have that glistening, youthful appearance of sweat, but we're going to look good while we're doing this. So Amber, looking good. Hit those stats up. What's going on in East Hawaii?
Okay, so in East Hawaii, we are in a pretty slow market over there. Yeah. I have a lot of, there's a lot of sellers that are still on the sidelines, so our inventory is a little bit lacking.
Yes.
And we have a lot of buyers who are kind of like jumping in and then jumping back out and jumping in and, oh, maybe we'll wait. And we had interest rates over 8, and then we had a dip last week, and so it's just all kinds of crazy.
Yes. In fact, if you guys have been watching any of this, the fact that we were waiting for the Fed to actually raise the interest rates, and then they didn't, and then they just didn't, and then all of a sudden it kind of went boom, it went down.
Yeah.
Because I think it's mortgage rates and stuff. And you guys, if you love the mortgage rates and you love numbers and stuff, we're going to be talking with a mortgage broker in about 2 weeks, next week, the 16th. So we're going to be talking about where it's going on right now with the interest rates, but right now they're not the highest they've ever been, and they dipped a little bit, but it's still an issue.
Yes, the interest rates are really what is affecting real estate the most. I think that people are talking about, at least.
Yes.
That's what's affecting my clients the most, and buyers and sellers. It affects everybody.
Right.
So with that being said, we're going to jump into some of the numbers, and then we'll just tell you what they all mean.
Yes.
The important things, what you really want to hear. So East Hawaii, we have 2 main districts where all of the sales happen, and that is, for the most part, that is the Puna district, which is just south of the South Hilo district. So let's start with Puna today, shall we? So in Puna, there were, for the last full month, 72 units. And this is for single family homes, which is what we primarily have in the Puna district, besides all those little land lots. And the median sales price was $360,000 for all of the sales that closed for the month of October this year. Okay. So if we look at that and compare it to the month before, it actually has gone down. Okay. Because last time we met and had a market update, it was at $382,000.
Okay, so it's gone down a little bit.
Yeah, so that's the median right there. And that takes into account all of the Puna districts, which there is a variety, like we always like to mention. There's
lava zone 1,
yes, the lava zones really affect the prices, but that's still the median price. And if we compare that to a year ago, we're also still down. $375,000 was the median for the Puna district at the same time last year in 2022. So that's kind of an interesting stat.
Yeah.
Kind of makes sense a little bit with everything that's going on. Days on market, so how long the home is sitting on the market. That's really important information if you're buying.
Right.
And so the average days on market for October of this year was 67 in the Puna district.
And last year?
That was just for October. So this is just a snapshot look. Okay. We look at the month before, so the trend for this year, it was it was 67. The month before it was 64. Oh. So it is getting a little bit longer, and definitely longer than where it was at a year ago, where it was at 52. So we're just seeing it extend further and further, which is kind of, on track with how we feel like probably the next 6 months might
It's going to go. In fact, this is happening across the nation right now.
Yes,
right?
yes.
Yeah. We're in a very weird real estate experience where people do not want to sell because they're locked into interest rates that are favorable, and the buyers are pulling out because they're worried about interest rates, and they're waiting.
Yes.
And so then sellers who have to sell are sitting there for 67 days.
Yes.
Waiting for someone to buy their house. Okay. So that's the answer for everybody who's watching this who is a owner. If you're thinking about selling, it could take almost up to 2 months to sell your house. Right?
It could, yes. Yeah. It probably, I would expect that.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
All right, so now let's talk about South Hilo. The values of property there overall in general are higher because of the lava zone, just geographically. So in South Hilo, we are looking at, for the month of October, a little snapshot there, $565,000 was the median home price. And we compare that to the month before, where it was $570,000. So following the same trend as Puna, it was a little bit lower. Now, compared to Puna, there are a lot less houses for sale and units that sold. So we're talking about 28 as opposed to the 72 in the Puna district of sales that we're going off of.
Statistics.
It's just something to keep in mind, definitely. Now we look at a year ago for the South Hilo district. The same time, the median price was at $505,000. So what's interesting about Hilo is that, again, this is not the first month that we've seen this. The Hilo district, the median price is more than it was at a year ago. And the average days on market, though, a year ago was only 27. And the last full month where those 28 units sold, the average days on market was much higher than a year ago. It was 71.
Wow.
So that's interesting. Even though the value has gone up a little bit, at least at this snapshot of data, the days on market is quite a bit longer.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's a slowing market. And because of lack of inventory, we're seeing people saying, okay, well, if I really want to buy a house, I'm going to throw some money at it.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And then which one of my favorite statistics is what's the list to sell?
Oh, yes. So that's a great stat. So list to sales price. So basically the price that the home actually closes for as opposed to its last listing price, offer price. In Puna, so for the last month, it was just over 93%. So that is, again, well, actually, that's about almost exactly where we were at a year ago and the month before. So that hasn't changed very much.
Okay.
Yes. And that is subjective, though, on how people are pricing, which I think a lot of people in this market have been pretty confused on how to price correctly the first time.
You know, okay, and sorry, we're going to ADD this for a moment. We're hearing across the nation, the housing prices are going up a little bit. Not like crazy, not 40%, but like let's say 4 or 5%, let's just say. And you don't want to be the seller that didn't take advantage of that little moment where there's not a lie out there, that there's buyers who are desperate because they've been waiting for to pounce for so long. You don't want to leave any money on the table.
Right.
Right. So you're thinking, okay, I want to price it up here a little bit, right? But then they wait a little bit and they go, maybe I made a mistake.
Yeah.
Right. And then some of these people say, I didn't make a mistake. I'm going to sit here and wait for 2.5, 3 months for someone to come and get my house. Right.
Yes.
Yeah. So we're in that position right now, right?
Yeah. So there's definitely some strategy with pricing, and that's why you definitely want to be connected with a real estate agent that has been following all these stats and really knows the market and your specific little, if you're on the Big Island, your little pocket of the Big Island and what's going on there.
Right. To really understand the market dynamics and who the buyers who are out there looking, who are they and what are they looking for?
Yeah.
Right. And how, and like, when we were talking to some of the people that we're working with right now, they're in a position where they've already waited 3 years. They're tired of waiting.
Yeah.
They're getting older and things are starting to happen in their lives. We're like, oh, you know what? We just have to make it happen.
Yeah.
So we'll just do whatever it takes.
Yeah.
And whoever they end up with is going to be very happy because they're probably going to not beat, the seller down because they just want to get in.
Yeah.
And so I'm seeing some buyers who at this point, and they say the people at this point who are looking are serious buyers.
Yeah.
Right?
Definitely. And there's always going to be buyers and sellers in any market. So, yes, they're probably serious ones that their life, this is when they need to do it.
Right.
Anyway.
Right. So the 2% interest rate hike isn't making a difference for them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so let's talk about final list to sales price in Hilo.
Okay.
So for the last month, that was at just over 90%.
90?
90%. So that probably means people are, pricing kind of high in Hilo. And so overall, there's been some room, clearly, for those buyers to negotiate. Because that's lower than it was the month before where it was at 94%, and the year before where it was at almost 96%.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen 90.
Yeah.
At any of these market reports that we've been doing.
It is the lowest of any district right now on the Big Island. So, yes.
So think about that, buyers, when you're negotiating your sale in Hilo.
Yes.
Didn't their price go up over the year? Is that what you said for Hilo? That one too as well?
Yeah, so the median sales price has gone up. It's always kind of interesting stats in Hilo. I've also been seeing and just some prices on homes coming on the market in Hilo that are kind of jaw-dropping to me, that are comparable to West Hawaii. So I think there are some sellers out there still pricing aggressively, maybe because the inventory is still low and Hilo is always a desirable area.
Yep.
But at the end of the day, too, a lot of buyers in Hilo are local buyers, and it's really alarming to watch the gap of wages here on the island compared to what the homes are being priced at. Yeah. So, I mean, that's probably another reason, just because of the demographic of buyers in Hilo, that, the prices, there's more of a gap between the prices and what they actually sell for, which, thank goodness a little bit. But yeah, it's interesting. Yeah.
And I'm not going to talk about societal issues, however, but at least in West Hawaii, we have a vibrant tourism economy.
Yeah.
So you can make more money because the tourists are still doing okay.
Yeah.
I mean, according to the Fed, with all these people who have houses that have 3.5%, 5% interest rates, they're the ones who are still spending money.
Yeah.
They're the ones who are still traveling.
Yeah.
So that's who affects the West Hawaii market. Mm-hmm. But in East Hawaii, those are people just trying to work. They're just trying to make society happen.
Yeah.
And so they don't get a chance to have a 7, 10, 20% increase in their income to pay for the housing prices going up.
When you start seeing a pretty average single family home, maybe on the newer end for Hilo, be priced at 1.1, 1.2 million, that's a challenge. That's a challenge for most people who live in East Hawaii. So yes, I see why, the list of sales price is a little bit different.
Yeah, because in that way, local people go, hey, this is what we can afford. Can we make this happen?
Yeah.
And if you've been sitting on the market for 60 days, maybe you're thinking, hey, I'll cut the price a little bit and try and figure this out.
Yeah.
So we'll see. But we have people looking at a house in Hilo. It's crazy. Yeah, it's like 1.2 million.
Yeah.
And they're like, I thought Hilo was supposed to be, affordable. I'm like, well, not for everybody.
I don't know if we can keep calling Hawaii and East Hawaii affordable anymore.
Yeah,
what is affordable?
What is affordable?
What is affordable? What does that even mean? Yeah. But let's talk about maybe a few reasons why buyers are buying right now, and what would be a benefit to buy right now.
Okay.
The first thing that comes to my head is less competition. I'm telling you, if you're on the sidelines and your life is maybe that you need to buy a house right now, or you just really want to and you're like, I'm not sure, there's going to be, I don't like to make guarantees in life, but I can almost guarantee you have less competition right now. If you're a buyer willing to go for it right now, you're going to have less competition. You are going to be able to have a lot more negotiating power. Yep. You're going to be able to write in what you want probably into that offer. Mm-hmm. So things like contingencies, things like maybe the timeline, maybe negotiate a little bit. You're going to have that power. And when and if we see a big shift in the market, that could mean a lot more buyers jump in, which also can increase prices more. Right. I don't see prices. I know we talk about the Puna district, prices are a little bit down, definitely. But overall, it's not a huge crash. I don't see that happening, especially in the more affordable markets where there's always big picture going to be demand likely in Hawaii. So there are some big advantages to people who buy right now. And most of those people are aware that they will probably be able to refinance down the road if a much lower interest rate becomes an option.
Right. In fact, Amber and I were listening to a company-wide update this week, and our CEO said maybe the way the mortgage rates are going, we might see a break in spring, right? And he said, and probably most likely by next fall.
Yeah.
Right? So if it is one of those, buy the house, date the rate, or marry the house, date the rate, could happen. But again, we don't know what the crystal ball looks like. There's obviously economic experiences all around this country with all the wars and stuff. However, at least it looks a little bit more optimistic than it did a month ago when people thought that the rates were going to go up again when the Fed met, and so they decided not to do that, and then to get that little downward trend of the mortgage rate. So don't lose hope. Faith is still out there. And also with the housing prices being still in, HPP and Analoa, still relatively affordable, people still can purchase homes.
Yes. Yeah. So overall, if you have a home in East Hawaii, has the value increased or decreased? Our data showed a little bit of a mixed bag. In Puna, it might be a little bit lower if you bought it like a year ago. Not that different though. In Hilo, it might be a little bit higher than if you bought it a year ago. We are seeing more days on market. So things are lasting on the market longer. So you might have extra time if you're a buyer to write an offer. However, I am still seeing things that are listed really well and competitively go pretty fast. So
there you go.
Yeah.
And if you are a owner, as Amber just told you, you're doing okay, right? The housing market's not crashing. You're not losing 50% of your equity. It's just finding its way right now.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. If you are a potential seller or just a homeowner. Yeah, that's always good. It's always good to know. I don't see a big crash happening.
No, in fact, we watch what's going on and what's happening out there in the overall market, and almost everything that would cause a crash, somebody seems to be backfilling it, like demand.
Yeah.
Right? And so as long as you keep having more demand than there are inventory, like they're just not building more homes here. And now I heard that the housing market in Las Vegas is not doing so good, nor in Seattle or in Houston, but they also have a ton of housing stock. And so we just don't. And people just want to move to Hawaii. So I don't know why. I mean, it's a beautiful day today.
I know, it's so strange. I was just talking to one of my colleagues in Washington, and she said stuff is moving very quickly in her market.
Really? Is it
Yes.
Seattle?
Seattle and Tacoma
Really?
is her main markets, yes.
I wonder if the sellers have finally broken and like lowered their prices a little bit. 'Cause
Yeah,
people were
it might
hanging
be.
those. They were trying to hang on to those higher prices.
Yeah.
Wow. Good. That's
Yeah.
good to know.
So it is really specific to the area. Also, I do have in front of me like every property right now, printed out old school today, of homes that are for sale in Hawaiian Paradise Park, which is where a lot of the single family homes in the Puna district are located. And it is a very popular neighborhood right now because it is in Lava Zone 3. So we have had a lot of issues and conversations over in East Hawaii lately with our buyers and our sellers about lava zone insurance. That is a big thing that we are still facing. Right now, the last time I looked, there's like a couple insurance. One of them is the government-backed one that can do lava zone 2. That information can always change, but that's definitely something that is likely maybe affecting these numbers that we're seeing.
Yeah, because if you do your research and you realize how much it's going to cost to get insurance, then you look at your overall payment every month for your house, and you have to factor that in.
And just the hesitation that people have, those homes in Lava Zone 2, I am telling you, they are sitting on the market. And I'm seeing price decrease. And I have buyers that look at them, they love them. We even write an offer sometimes, and they're like, never mind. Actually, that Lava Zone insurance is just, it's an obstacle. So
What is a range of lava zone insurance?
So on average for most houses, if you can only get the government backed one, you can only insure up to $450,000. It's quite expensive. On average, most of the time in the riskier zones, your like insurance payment is, you can plan on it being about double sometimes of what it would be in a less risky zone. And that it really comes down when you buy a house to your monthly payment.
Right.
For most people.
It doesn't matter what the whole overall price is, what you can afford every month.
Yeah. And then you always want to think about, too, when you're buying a house, even if you think it's your forever home, when you go to sell it someday. So that's something I really like to educate people on in East Hawaii. If you buy a house in a riskier lava zone, it might seem fine and dandy right now, but you go to sell it, things like actual lava, first of all, and ability to insure and all of that stuff is going to affect the next buyer, too. Either a year down the road or 10 years.
It's like buying next to a cemetery.
Yeah.
You got easy in, getting hard getting out. Unless you actually walk next door and that becomes your new neighborhood.
Yeah.
That happened to my mother.
Wow.
Yeah, she could not get out of her house.
Wow.
My dad bought the house next to a cemetery, and he thought he got a pretty good deal because it's next to a cemetery. And then when she tried to sell the house, people would turn around in the driveway and not even come in the house to look at it.
Did she know that when she bought it? Because
she probably wasn't watching. You know what? My dad kind of led that whole experience. But then when he died, and then she was left with the house, trying to sell the house next, and then people, of course, would say, I'm not living next to a cemetery. And my stepfather used to laugh and go, well, all the neighbors are super quiet. And we'd laugh, right? But then that did not help their house value. And when she tried to sell it before she got too old, she couldn't sell it. And she said, you know what, then I guess I'll stay. And she stayed until she passed away. And now she's buried next door.
I mean, it kind of feels like a familiar story. If the version of that we see over in East Hawaii for buyers, we do have a lot of people who relocate to Hawaii and don't really know that much about the Big Island and about East Hawaii specifically. But a lot of the property there is like agriculturally zoned, and they'll buy a house maybe sight unseen because that's very, very common still. And there'll be like, like a rooster farm right next door or something like that, or they just like didn't quite they pictured something else in their mind. And so, it's always great when you can come on island and look at all these things and the little things that can affect even a beautiful home if it's next to something like a cemetery,
Yeah,
or a farm,
here,
or-
here it's not the cemetery, it's the hay house, and a lot of people feel kind of creepy right next to a Hawaiian archaeological site. And if you know what, that's another thing, you guys. When you see pictures of people's houses, you don't get a chance to hear the noise. Is the coqui frog's going to be out of control? Maybe you don't like that, right? Some people say, "Oh, it's the music of the night." Well, maybe that's not for you. The barking dogs, rooster farms, and also just. I think that people sometimes don't realize, again, the house looks beautiful, but when you pan out and see how far you are away from everything else, you know, that's, I mean, people go, I love remote. I'm like, oh, really? Do you love remote? Really? Do you love rural? Think about that.
Some people do, but not everybody.
So come in and make sure that you get a chance to actually see it. And also when you have someone like an Amber who's been around the block for 10 times and you can say, okay, what do you think about this? She'll tell you the truth. And you also probably get some level of a, let's take you around the neighborhood in the area with a live video camera.
Yes.
So that when you
that's
can
great.
actually hear it, see it, feel it, ask questions, the whole thing, right?
I try and always get, if I'm doing virtual tours for my clients, I try and always get at least one good like street view or run, or sometimes I'll even drive down if it's like close to the water and they want to see how close. Like,
Yeah, how
so
close
you
are
can
you to the
actually see me drive down to the water or something, because it, you know, you picture one thing in your head, it doesn't ever look exactly the same as online.
No, and then get this. When I had a call recently, family's going to move to Mountain View, and they're going to go to the beach every day and go swimming.
Yeah, so Mountain View, you're looking at least a half-hour drive. And some of those neighborhoods, if you're way in the back on a backcountry road, it could be a lot longer.
Right, and then to go down to a beach where you can actually swim.
Yeah, you'd have to go all the way to Hilo.
Right, just so you guys know that.
Yeah.
Because not every place in Hawaii is like Oahu, where you see those beautiful, like, you know, the beaches with the beautiful green and la 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 la. Because the Oahu's this big, okay? Big Island's this big.
We're big.
Almost in Oahu, you could drive within probably 15 minutes of some level of the beach. Almost all around the entire island, right? Where here, you could like spend 45 minutes of your time trying to find sand.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. So just so that, in case some of you guys also want some idea of how diverse, and you kind of don't know what you're getting always on the Big Island, and also why sometimes when we say these like snapshots of data, you really do have to like kind of take it with a grain of salt and look at the bigger picture. Because just in Hawaiian Paradise Park, and there are just over 60 active listings. I want to say 65, but that might not be the exact number, but it's very close. And the lowest price one on the market today is $165,000.
Wow.
And you're looking at
That's a
100.
house.
Well,
Okay.
you're looking at 192 unpermitted square feet in Paradise there for $165,000. It's been on the market for 322 days. So it's basically a land sale at that point.
Yeah,
Probably
you're,
cash
you're
only.
mowing down the shack.
Yeah, so we have stuff like that. And then on the highest end, I know I've mentioned the stat in another market update, but this house is still sitting on the market. We have just over $2 million, $2,099,000, a single family home on Beach Road, which is close to the water. It is a desirable part of that neighborhood. This one also, I do know, has a short-term vacation rental permit, which is a desirable thing, but wow.
$2 million.
Over $2 million in East Hawaii and Lava Zone 3, 30 minutes away from Hilo. That's a big number. And then if you look at all these listings, we have everything in between. We have new construction in the 600s, 700s. We have older homes. You know, we have all different locations. Hawaiian Paradise Park is a massive neighborhood.
Yep.
So we got a lot of variety. Another reason it's great to come on the island and see it in person.
In fact, I had a woman send me a note. She said, "What's with this one?" It was on First Street. I don't know if I see it here.
First Avenue.
First Avenue.
Yes.
Do you know what I'm talking about by any chance? It was really inexpensive.
I've probably seen it. If it's really inexpensive,
Tell me.
I can tell you, like off the top of my head, it's probably completely unpermitted. It might be, you know, next to a rooster farm or something else not desirable, or have some other like in Hawaiian
defect.
Paradise. Yeah, in Hawaiian Paradise Park, it's usually permitting. Permitting issue.
Yeah.
Because that is all Lava Zone 3. That doesn't affect financing or insurance. But if you do see something in like Pahoa that's really, really cheap, affordable, low price, it's usually Lava Zone or a combination of the two. So. And
just because I know, because I'm getting, you know, and we had a while where we had a bunch of people saying, I want to move to East Hawaii and I've got, you know, I love $500,000. What can I get? Or $400,000. Now I'm getting people saying, what will $150,000 get me? And I'm like, well, you know what? Not much.
$150,000 won't really get you anything.
Right, and then we did a video called Cheap Homes, and it tells you what happens when you don't spend enough money for housing here. That you get a lot of problems. You get unpermitted structures, you get some stuff. So there is a level when she's giving you the median price. Maybe that's not for everything, but that kind of gives you a feeling for what the average human being wants to live in that area, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. And so I would say Lava Zone 3, if you want a popular neighborhood like Hawaiian Paradise Park, a lot of buyers, probably a lot of you watching at home, maybe want a newer construction, maybe 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom. You're going to be looking, depending on like the quality of the new construction, if it's more on the custom end or like builder grade, you're going to be looking in the high 4s up into the 7s. I see everything kind of in there. There's a lot of inventory at different price points there for a newer home. So it's going to be more. My main point being, it's going to be more than the median value, which what did we say was at 360 right now. It's going to be more than that.
But you could buy a new home for 4, like upper 4s.
You could. Yes. Yeah.
Okay. And I mean, then you don't have to worry about permitting problems.
Yes.
Right. Everything's new. You don't have to worry about it. You probably are sitting on an acre of land, right? Because most of those are acre of land, and then you get a chance to do what the heck you want with your like you get fruit trees, or you can have your dogs running around or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And then you're happy.
Yeah.
Because I'm gonna tell you guys, you're not getting anything for $497 in West Hawaii. You can even get a condo for that almost right now.
It's nuts. So, yep, come on over to East Hawaii if you're considering it. I hope people from West Hawaii watch these updates too, so they can see how far their money
could go.
There. Yeah.
And okay, so also speaking of, we've been getting some dry days here. I've heard that you guys are having some dry days there too.
Yeah, we've had. So I got back from our real estate conference, and it has been dry, and I really enjoy it sometimes, but. In East Hawaii, it can get like a little bit dusty because we have a lot of like backcountry roads, and sometimes, like people in my neighborhood where I live, sometimes if you have a lot of people living in your house and you use a lot of water, you might run out of water in your water catchment tank. It's pretty rare. It's not a problem. You can get a company to come in and fill it up. But yeah, we have a little dry stretch right now.
Yeah. So just when people say the Hilo in East Hawaii gets 300 inches a year, that's not happening.
No, in fact, I promise you all, every time I come over here to film with her to Kona, I'm in Kona, West Hawaii right now, physically here. Well, it is a beautiful day.
Today's a beautiful day.
But most of the drive,
raining.
it is sun showering right now. It is raining. Technically, precipitation happening right now.
Really?
It is a beautiful day.
She's totally lying right
it's
now.
It's not. No, I see it. I see it. It's like spitting. Okay. So we get sunshine there too. It's not all clouds and rain.
Besides, if people like their side, they like to have the cool rain showers, and also they like the green and like the garden and everything else. So if you want to live over there, that's perfect. So we have our live audience over here in Facebook. Who do we have?
Lance says hello, and Kai Sanders with us.
Oh, Kai, okay. Yeah, Kai's in the middle of. She's selling her home. She's selling a condo.
Oh,
for a lot more than buying a single family construction house in. Because she's right here in Kona. She has she's a mile from the downtown area.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And then we have the live. If you guys want to jump over from the YouTube people and be on live, so you can like say hi and ask questions. If you guys over in the Facebook connection over there do have questions, let us know and Amber will answer them for you. But over in YouTube land, by being part of the live audience, you can connect with Amber and start asking some questions and get more of a deep dive. But you can also do that by actually calling her. So we will put Amber's contact information in the description, and you can actually connect with her if you're thinking about buying a house, and also if you're thinking about selling. Woman also is on fire with listings.
Call, text, email. Let me know you're part of the 365. I want to know. Let me know if you watch these, if you find these helpful. And what I will say is overall, the feeling from most of my clients and friends and people I know who have bought in the last year or two, they are very happy with their purchase. I think they've made a good investment. And the people that I know, even though it's kind of a struggle and they're jumping in and out of whether to buy right now, I do think it's a good opportunity because there's not a lot of competition. So.
Right. And they're predicting housing prices will continue to rise. So there you go. And so for my friend Lance, who watches this, I think he's happy. I see pictures that his wife posts almost daily of the sunrise in Hilo. I mean, in HPP.
Yeah.
And it is beautiful.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. So they're happier than crap.
Yeah.
So there you go. Take that. Like I said, if you guys want to go on the live section, go to 365hawaiiliving.com and join the Ohana, and you guys will have an opportunity to get free resources and books and also get into our groups. And what we're looking like on Facebook is the 365 Hawaii. I'm moving to the Big Island of Hawaii and buying a home group. And we let you guys in when you're not working with another realtor, because Amber sells homes, I sell homes, Eric sells homes, and we'd like to be your realtor representation. So there you go. Any closing last thoughts?
Lucky we love Hawaii.
Yeah, and you know what? Thanksgiving's coming up too.
Yeah,
so thank you to all of you guys who consistently watch us. We're getting over 400 views a month, and so we know we have quite a little bit of a following. So thank you, we appreciate that. And we are coming back at you on the 16th with a island-wide update, and Amber's gonna be part of that. Get a little bit more of her updated, and also we'll have our mortgage guy, and then Amber will be back the beginning of December.
Yes. Oh my goodness, it's the holidays.
I know, end of the year, holiday thing. So we'll have like our little, holiday decor around us. So you guys have a great one, and thanks for joining us, and we will see you next time.
Aloha.
Aloha.